Google might not be the default Android search on um, Android devices for much longer. This is essentially being brought around by companies, sorry, not companies, countries, and in this case, Australia's ACCC, saying that it's just, you just need to, like Google, you need to provide options, because at the moment, you see your search bar, it's Google, that's all it is. You
Hmm.
don't have an option to change it. It is the case on iPhone as well, but that's because Google pays Apple an insane amount of money to keep sort of being the default search engine.
Hmm.
To me, this, I mean, this is how ingrained it is. I didn't even think that we needed a different option. Like, I never looked at the
Yeah.
Google search bar and thought, I really wish I had Bing on here or Yahoo. I don't trust those
Yeah.
search results, but
I think it's a classic case of what we've discussed a few times in terms of governments trying to regulate and catching up with it. Because, as you said, it's gotten to a point where Google has such a monopoly on the search space that you don't really consider other ones. And there
well, it's the
are like a
verb, right?
minority. Yeah,
Like
exactly. You Google
Googling
it.
is the verb. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is minorities who are using other ones. I think DuckDuckGo is something you mentioned the other day. Some of these other weird ones that I've never even heard of. But I think it is important to have variety in there so that Google can't continue to be such a monopoly. Obviously, they have a good product and everyone does all of their SEO and all of that sort of stuff for Google. But I think that it's important for that to be regulated so that they can't continue taking up every little bit of internet space and life space without us realizing before we're completely controlled by Google.
The thing with Google though is that they've kept innovating, because I think in a lot of spaces competition leads to more innovation, but for whatever reason Google's just continued to innovate in the search engine space despite not really having a competitor. Like,
Mm.
let's be honest.
Well, it's
Like,
probably preemptive in that case then, because if they stopped innovating, something else would come up and people would be like, oh, Google's rubbish. They've stopped doing X and Y. There's this new person on the blog. Let's try them out. But if Google continues to innovate, then they are keeping every competitor at bay because people will just look at it and go, I don't want to compete with Google. I can't compete with Google. I don't want to try.